Okay, so now we've seen the work of tomorrow's designers. Now let's celebrate the work of today's. The Ward's 10 Best Interiors competition pays tribute to the finest passenger compartments in cars and trucks on the road today. Whether it's the 10 Best Interiors or 10 Best Engines competitions, the Ward's Auto editorial staff sets out to assemble a list of nominees that represent every major segment of the market. This year, Ward's Auto editors evaluated 47 vehicles in February and March before choosing the 10 best winners. To be eligible, a vehicle had to be all new or have an interior that has been significantly redesigned. In picking the winners, the editors complete score sheets for every vehicle they drive. Each score sheet has a possible 100 points, and editors grade the vehicles based on these criteria: material selection, ergonomics, driver information, safety, value, touch points, fit and finish, aesthetics, and design harmony. So that's a background on our process. Now on to the awards. My colleague Tom Murphy is going to roam from car to car here in the room with a cameraman to highlight what sets these vehicles apart. You can follow the video tour on the screens behind me. We won't be going in any particular order now. Each 10 awards, each award has an equal weight. So, our first award winner is a Volvo XC90, an all-new CUV with room for 7, loads of style, and an Auraforce crystal gear shifter. Tom will tell you about it.
So yeah, here we are at the XC90, and yeah, as Drew mentioned, this is all new, and people wondered how Volvo would do under Chinese ownership, but Geely has truly freed up Volvo to invest in great engines and now also great interiors, as we see here in the XC90. This is really a well-done interior. Of course, it seats 7, so there's a row in back here where the seats fold flat, and here in the second row, you can fold flat also, so you get a nice flat load floor all the way to the back liftgate. You can also slide these seats forward. If you need access to the third row, you do that, and it'll slide and give you a real wide access to the third row. Very nice. And then here in the second, also in the second row, you can slide forward this seat. You can put a child seat here, and it's easy for the parent to access that, the child. And also, you have an integrated child seat right there. So, kind of a booster seat. Then also you have second row climate controls here, very nice. And got to call out here the Swedish flag. This is a very small touch, but they're celebrating their Scandinavian heritage here. And this is the only spot that you'll see it in the vehicle. So I'm going to go to the front seat now and talk about this linear walnut wood trim that you see on the IP, you see it on the door, you see it in the center stack and in the center console. You got this roll top type desk here, very nice smooth action with the seats or with the cup holders. You have a storage bin here. Of course, you have your Auraforce crystal shifter. This is gorgeous at night because it shimmers at nighttime, and during the day, it glistens in the sun. It'll reflect light. It's just beautiful. And then you have some piano black trim here to kind of set off the matte finishes in the interior. Also, you have this nice knurled finish on the metallic ignition here, and also drive mode selector. So as you can tell, they've eliminated a lot of buttons here, which is really important to us. It's important to a lot of the new interiors to make things simple and very intuitive. You only have 6 buttons here, mostly for defrost and HVAC. You also have a big volume button, which a lot of people like. But this touch screen is just like an iPad, and if you get a chance to sit in the car, come on over and check out how you can cycle through lots of menus, setting your safety systems in the car, and so many other things, surfing the web and so forth. But yeah, a beautiful vehicle. This is the hybrid, and it's $84,000, but you can also get in the non-hybrid version with the same trim. So great job by Volvo.
Here to accept for the XC90 is your afternoon keynote speaker, Robin Page, Vice President of Interior Design at Volvo Cars. Excuse me, I have to add, it was not in the script. I have to announce Tisha Johnson. Thank you.
Right, well, so obviously a great honour to pick up an award like this, so thank you for everyone involved. It's an extremely important car for Volvo, the XC90. It's the start of our next generation, new platform, new technology, and of course a new design language. And luckily I get the chance to take you through that a little later, so I'll go into more detail about that. But thank you for the award on behalf of the Volvo team. It's a great honour. Thank you.
Well, it's important to us that each year to recognize an inexpensive car with an exceptional interior. And the new Honda Civic fits the bill. Tom will walk us through it.
So my first new car was a 1989 Honda Civic, and I just loved it. And I drove the thing into the ground, but it was not this nice. This is a Civic of a new stripe, literally new stripe. We've got stripes here on the seats that would take a fairly straightforward interior and just really jazz it up a bit. Not only is it a stripe, but it's also kind of a carbon fiber finish to the stripe. And you see it here on the seat backs. You also see it on the front when we go up to the front seat in a second. Perforated leather, which is something that we're seeing often to improve cooling. Also, here in the back seat of the Civic, I've got plenty of headroom, which is really nice. In a compact car, it's sometimes hard to get enough space, but I got plenty of leg room, about 4 or 5 inches of room for my knees. This is America's best-selling small car, and I can see why. Really nicely done headliner. This is not a cheap car, but pricing. This is a $27,000 model, so it is more expensive than the base models, of course, but still you get the excellent build quality. Really nice soft surfaces here. I'm going to go into the front seat now, and the camera's going to swing around also. So this is the 10th generation Civic, and the 9th generation Civic took a lot of heat, from the journalists because we felt like it was, they'd really gone down market. They kind of dumbed it down too much. The problem with the 9th generation was they had a lot of lines up here on the instrument panel, so they've done away with all that. And it's very clean on top here on the IP, and then you got a nice little brow here. You also have a nice touch screen here that works really well. There's a slider for the volume. There's a home button there where you can cycle through all of your options, all of your menus. Really trick center console here. It's pretty nice. Camera's not going to be able to see all of it, but you should climb in here and check it out because I can pull out the cup holder. I can stick my entire arm down here, and then there's another cup holder for a huge bottle down here. And all of this is very reconfigurable, sliding back and forth. And also another storage bin here. And then on this trim here, you got this nice bronzed kind of finish to the IP trim, and it also carries around to the door. And then you got a silver kind of trim here, nice stitching down here. Just a really well done compact car. I like the hips here on the center stack. Instead of just kind of straight lines, you got some nice flavor here. Nice storage bin here as well. But yeah, an excellent job by Honda on the new Civic.
Sept is Michael Narazaki, Interior Project Leader for the Honda Civic.
Thank you. As the Interior Development Project Leader for the 2016 Honda Civic, I am honored to accept this award on behalf of my colleagues who made this Honda Civic interior a reality. This Civic is the 10th generation Civic, and we started the development a little differently than usual. It really started with the goals we set for ourselves, and that was simply to make the very best compact class car in the world. We achieved this interior by going back to Civic's roots of a sporty, fun-to-drive car that is highly affordable, spacious, and efficient. Our key targets were a high-deck tech center console, dynamic and wide IP, and premium quality materials. So we were particularly happy Ward's article highlighted our center console. The high-deck console generated positive internal friction early on in the development because although it was sporty and stylish, it didn't necessarily contribute to Honda's usual spacious feeling. We worked hard to turn that friction into a positive, and resulting in the console that you see here today. As Ward's puts it, a clever and spacious center storage bin. Additionally, due to the high deck height of the console, we were able to make a very usable console armrest. With this console, we feel we achieved an unprecedented sports sedan console styling with CUV usability. Finally, I'd like to recognize my interior design chiefs who are here today. For IP, Cordell Bosma, if you could raise your hand. SRS and steering wheel, Kim Long. Seats, Paul Wynn. Trim, John Howard. Human factors, Albert Hamelage. And Dana Jordan for HVAC, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. And also the entire team in Ohio and LA who made this interior a reality. Thank you very much to Ward's Auto for this recognition. Thank you.
Lexus RX 350 is one of 4 luxury CUVs on our list this year. And it got there with excellent materials, great design, and flexibility. Here's Tom with a vehicle walkthrough.
So yeah, here we are at the Lexus RX, the best-selling mid-size luxury utility vehicle in the U.S., and we can see why, because they really did a great job with the styling, the functionality, and it's still very roomy, and got some nice features here. You got storage down below within the bed in the back, and then you got these levers here. This is all mechanical, so you can throw the second seat, drop it down, it goes reasonably flat, lots of cargo space. Now I'm going to go around to the front seat. He's going to shoot in from the other side there, and we're going to talk about metallic trim. It's just beautifully finished satin metallic, almost like a bronzish kind of shade to it. You see it on the IP, you see it on the doors, on the door handles. You see it on the shifter right here. But what I really like is how this line comes across here. It sweeps across the top, and then it almost makes a 90-degree coming down, and then forming a point right here at the end. Just really nice. Usually you see a lot of symmetry here in the, in the center stack, and in this case, they've broken that up, and it's really distinctive. Also, the wood, this is the espresso walnut wood trim package, and look how it goes from a horizontal surface up to a vertical surface. You get this cove right here, and it's really just beautiful. And then you get that metallic bit that surrounds the cup holders here. This is the remote touch controller, which we've seen in a couple of the other, well, in a lot of other vehicles, but this is the latest generation. It's very ergonomical. You rest your palm here, then you can control it this way. You can also set the sensitivity, however you like it. So this vehicle priced at $52,968, which is a pretty good value considering that luxury vehicles have generally been going up for many years now. But in this case, you've got really nice metallic bits also on the steering wheel. Love that. And the nice brow on top. Everything just flows really nicely. And of course, the build quality in this vehicle is excellent. When I do my headliner edge test here along this front edge on the headliner, very clean, very smooth. Nice finish on this micro suede interior headliner. So back to you, Drew.
Here to accept for the RX is Kevin Hunter, president of Kelty Design Research.
very much. You know, this design theme really originated in our Newport Beach studio and then moved to the Lexus design team in Japan, and we supported through our design effort as it went through production. So we're really quite proud of the result and our effort to make more artistic and more well-crafted design and driver-engaged design statements. So on behalf of the entire Lexus team, I want to thank you very much.
The Chevy Camaro is an iconic muscle car with an outstanding interior that is about much more than demonstrating brute strength. Let's watch Tom take us through it.
So yeah, this is the all-new Chevy Camaro SS, and this is the ceramic white trim with black. Got really nice contrast here between the, the white stitching, as you can see, with the black leather and also the white perforated leather as well. It's hard to think about the Camaro being around when cars are driving themselves, and I'm holding out hope for humanity that there will be a market for these cars still well into the future. Even if they're driving themselves, I'm hoping that someday people are still going to be able to drive these cars. So as we look at this door trim on this Camaro, you can see the ambient lighting bars here. It's blue. It's also blue on top, and then here in the cup holder, you'll see that you have this metallic trim surrounded by this nice illuminated section of the cup holder. You can change these colors on the screen here. You can pick from a palette of 24 different colors. But this is not the muscle car of old. As you can see, you've got really nice, soft white leather, a lot of soft surfaces that you would not have seen in the Camaro years ago. So as we climb into the driver's seat here, you'll see a lot of things that a lot of the styling cues that carried over from the old Camaro. So this kind of dual binnacle look here, and they've turned this into a functional element where you turn the HVAC warm or cold in either direction for the driver's side or for the passenger side. Really nice red metallic trim and silver metallic trim on the manual gear shifter. The metallic trim carries over here. You got your mode selector. But they've done away with a lot of the buttons because this MyLink system, it's a great HMI that lets you cycle through lots of menus, entertainment options and that sort of thing. And so you have fewer buttons and you're doing a lot of your work here on the touchscreen. And then this also carries over from the old Camaro, the nice big dual cowl here and the deep set gauges. But just a beautifully done vehicle. This is $46,000. It's definitely setting a new standard for muscle cars. Back to you, Drew.
Here to accept is Ryan Vaughn, Director of Design at Chevrolet Performance Car Interiors, and Tristan Murphy, Design Manager at Chevrolet Performance Car Interiors.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here to accept this award on behalf of the entire design team. I was actually talking with a customer recently who she went into a dealer, a Chevy dealer, with her kids in tow to buy a Chevy Traverse, and she walked out with the Camaro instead. So clearly our customers have their priorities straight. And this was great for us because the Camaro is such a passionate car. It's a car people feel really strongly about, and we really wanted to bring that to the design, doing something that had that connection to the Camaro heritage, but was very new, very modern, and executed on a really high level. So it's great to get the recognition from awards. We appreciate it very much. But a special thanks to the design team, including Tristan, also other members of the team who are here today, Nathan Dressman, Kelly Crago, Judy Kim, Brett Golliff, and everybody else back in the studio. Excellent job. Thank you very much.
The Mercedes GLC 300 started life as the GLK CUV some years ago. And now it has a new name and a gorgeous interior. Tom is standing by to walk you through it.
So yeah, Mercedes blew us away 2 years ago when they came out with the S-Class, and just a aesthetically beautiful and clean and elegant interior. And they've carried that over to the C-Class last year, which won, and now the GLC makes it a three-peat. And I want to show you this lindenwood trim here. It's kind of a high gloss, but it's beautifully done. Really nice metallic trim, Burmester sound here, and lots of soft surfaces everywhere. And instead of having a lever or, to throw the second row seat, you've got here a button to drop it down. And I'm going to go to the front seat now. So if you've been in the C-Class or if you've been in the S-Class, then you'll recognize the alignment of the three vents across the top, and this really nice sloping center stack feeding down into the center console, and your cup holders here. This beautiful metallic trim that feeds across to the A-pillar. The vents, basically bookending the front, the IP. And I want to talk a bit about this. This is either a touch screen. You can use this as a touchpad to give your commands. You can also rotate and press this. But you might want to check out the Continental booth, because they have a concept here where they've put two plastic paddles here that are not actually paddles. They're just pads to rest your thumb. And meanwhile, there's a camera here in the center that is going to shoot out that basically reads the commands of your thumb. And it's really kind of cool. So they've eliminated the electronics in the steering wheel, but it's very interesting. So yeah, C-Class here, the GLC, this vehicle is $54,360, and it's a good value. It's a really fine value. We had a lot of CUVs in the competition this year, and this was one of the four that made it. So very nicely done. Back to you, Drew.
Here to accept is Brian Cotter from the Mercedes-Benz Public Relations team.
On behalf of Mercedes-Benz and Daimler AG, this is a great honor, so thank you to all the editors at Wards. Thank you, Drew. And if you haven't looked at the GLC yet, I'd like to encourage all of you to take a look at it. Our designers have been working round the clock on these cars the past few years with the S-Class, with the C-Class, and now to have the GLC receive this honor, we're just absolutely thrilled. So thank you on behalf of all of us at Mercedes. Thank you to all our designers and engineers, and once more, thank you to Wards.
The Chrysler Pacifica picks up where the Town and Country minivan left off, shuttling kids and at times being a sanctuary for frazzled parents. Tom's standing by to tell you about Fiat Chrysler's 6th-generation people mover.
So yeah, here we are in the back of the Pacifica, and I'm going to demonstrate for you the folding of the third row. This is the Stow and Go. This is the latest generation Stow and Go, and it comes from Magna. And so we're putting this seat down flat with the load floor. And the second row seats also go flat as part of Stow and Go. It's not power, it's manually pushed down into bins in the floor there. Very nicely done. But the cool thing about this third row, for the first time, if you can see over here, there's a power switch on the console, or on the side there on the trim, where the person in this third row seat can actually recline it. So if you're an adult in that penalty box in the third row, you can recline that seat, and it makes it quite a bit more comfortable. It's quite well done. Now I'm going to go around to the driver's side, and camera's going to go on the passenger side. We're going to talk about the second row here. This is the place where the kids hang out, and you got the nice video screen here. They've answered the question of, are we there yet? Because they have a nice app here, a nice connection basically to the navigation system, so that The kids can track the route so that they know how, through graphical information, how far it is until they get to Grandma's house. Over here, if you want to check it out, we got the vacuum. This is the stow and vac to clean up the messes that they make. And I'm gonna climb into the driver's seat. And this is where the frazzled parents find solace. This is really a beautifully done interior. When I look at the steering wheel, you've got this confluence of all these beautiful materials. This is deep mocha. This is the deep mocha and black trim package. There's also a alloy and cognac package that is quite nice. But you have this real nice metallic trim around the center and the metallic trim down here on the steering wheel. You got the blue gauges that carry over from the 300 sedan. Chrysler is also very proud of this metallic trim here that runs all the way from the left side of the IP to the right. And this is a one-piece aluminum trim that they've had in other vehicles as well, but it's not easy to do, but it's very well done. Really nice interactive Uconnect system, easy to function, easy to cycle through all your menus. You don't have a ton of buttons here, but you have your climate controls here. You also have redundant climate controls here on the IP if you want to do it this way instead. You got your gear shifter, lots of storage room down below here, cup holders here, got the roll top desk storage here, and then even more storage back here. Yeah, this is $48,000 as a minivan, which is kind of in line with the, with the premium minivan out there. So well done by Chrysler. Back to you, Drew.
Here to accept for FCA is Chris Benjamin, Head of Interior Design at FCA, and Winnie Chung, Design Chief at Chrysler Brand Interior Studio.
So thank you very much. It's quite an honor to be here to accept this award on the behalf of the team. Thank you to Awards for recognizing the hard work that the entire team has put into it. The funny thing is that we, as designers, always look at everything that we do with a great amount of passion. And you think, there are a lot of luxury cars in the room that have got great interiors, but we thought, why shouldn't normal, everyday people who are parents, who have families, why shouldn't they enjoy a great interior as well? So we really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this interior to make it something that's not only stylish, but very functional, so that they can enjoy it on all levels. But you don't get to this place by just doing cool sketches. You also have to have a team of amazing engineers to help you along. So I just want to recognize all of the designers that are here that worked on the Pacifica. Please stand up. I'm not going to name everyone by name. And then our engineers that are over here on this side. Guys, please stand up. You know who you are. So it's really the work of, this cross-functional team that, goes into creating something that not only has passion, but has a soul as well. Thank you very much.
Tall guys. Okay. The Nissan Maxima is a sports sedan with ample proportions, a bold color scheme, and a host of upscale features. Here's Tom with a vehicle walkthrough.
All right, good. So yeah, here we are in the back seat of the Nissan Maxima, and I want to talk about this fabric here. This is an Alcantara insert, micro suede, and it's diamond quilted. And this is something that we saw in a lot of the vehicles this year, was this diamond quilting on leather and on micro suede. But it's really a nice way to punch up your vehicle interior. This is the camel color interior, camel and black. So you got a lot of nice contrast. As camera can probably see here, the contrast stitching on the arm rest in the center. It's beautifully done, really nicely, evenly stitched. As I can look from here and back down the row on the stitching, all the way up to the IP. It's really nicely done, evenly stitched. And here in the back, you see the same nice stitching, and you got the micro suede insert here. Just soft surfaces everywhere. This is as close to a luxury sedan as you're going to find. Really nicely done. Lots of leg room, lots of headroom here. Really nicely finished. This is a joint here, where the B-pillar meets up with the headliner. The seal is really clean, really nicely done. So I'm going to go around to the driver's seat. This is a $38,000 sedan, and this steering wheel, as we mentioned also in the Pacifica a minute ago, you got the confluence of all the key design elements here in the steering wheel, perforated Alcantara inserts in the steering wheel, the black leather on the outside, the nice contrast stitching on the inside, the metallic bits in the center, flat bottom to really illustrate that this is meant to be driven as a sporty sedan. I want to point out the trim here, the metallic trim that sweeps around on the front of the IP around to the doors, and it's also on this side as well. Maybe the camera can get this shot a little bit better over here on the door trim. They call this liquid chrome. So if you get a chance to climb into the Maxima, run your fingers across it, and like we talked about the diamond quilting on the seat fabric, they've also imprinted kind of a diamond shape on this metallic trim, and they call it liquid chrome. Very nicely done. We like how this brow here on top is kind of hovering above the IP. Beautiful stitching across the top of the IP and the brow. So very nicely done by Nissan, and back to you, Drew.
Here to accept is John Saz, Senior Manager at Nissan Design.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's always a joy to come back to Detroit. This is the second year. I think the last year we got it for Murano Interior, and this year's for Maxima. On behalf of Nissan Global Design, I'd like to say thank you to the Ward's Auto judges and editors for selecting Maxima as one of the 10 best interiors for 2016. As you all may know, behind every strong design, there's a strong team. And I'm very proud of our team at Nissan Design America and Nissan Technical Center in North America, our engineers and product planners, to be playing a significant role in this global collaboration in Nissan. It's just a validation that here in North America, we are pursuing excellent design, production, and as well to compete with a world-class car in a global market. Again, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to next year as well. Thank you.
The Audi TT is a stylish coupe that introduces us to a new term, the virtual cockpit. Tom will explain.
So yeah, before we get to the virtual cockpit, I'm going to talk about just the mechanical elements here. This is the back end of the Audi TTS. You can drop this down, and this is a pretty decent sized storage space when you drop the seats. You put down both seats, and I play hockey, I'm a goaltender, and this passes what I call the goalie bag test. So I can put my entire goalie bag in there and the pads, and I can fit the stick right in through the center tunnel there, and we're good to go. So even though it's a very small car, it's still fairly functional when you put that second row seat down. So I'm going to go around to the driver's seat, climb in. And actually, if the camera could go shoot from the backside, I want to talk about this virtual cockpit. As Drew mentioned, this is how we are going to be interacting with our cars into the future, where everything is appearing here in the center, and you can adjust different ways to view this. So you can have the map you can have the map large and the gauges small, or you can have the gauge in the center. You can have the gauges, you can reconfigure this entire thing however you want it. If you want your entertainment there, if you want phone, your calling, your menu for calling, and that sort of thing. So, okay, camera's going to come around to the passenger side, and I'm going to talk about this center console here. This center console truly is the design apex of this car, because everything converges right here. You got this beautiful red leather or red stitching here on the black leather. Of course, as I mentioned, the diamond quilting. Of course, you're seeing it here in the TTS as well. It's really distinctive, and these are just beautiful seats. They're very, they really hug you. They've got these deep bolsters here. You've got the big shoulders that wrap around here very nicely. But as part of this virtual cockpit that I was talking about, they've eliminated a lot of the buttons. So if you get a chance to climb into the TTS, you'll notice, geez, what happened to all the buttons? Well, what they did was most of the HVAC buttons are integrated in the vents. So you'll see here a button for your air conditioning if you want to turn it on or off, or your heat. If you want to set your temperature, you can dial it up or down. Your fan speed also is here. You can also decide if you want the air coming into your feet or up, for the defrost. You can also decide how much air you want or the direction of the air. And then on the outboard, on this side and also on the driver's side, is the button to turn on and off your seat heater. So they've integrated all of these functions. They've hidden them kind of in places that make perfect sense. So the only buttons that you have now is a drive select for eco or for dynamic driving or for comfort driving. You can turn off your traction control if you want, but very few buttons. And also the metallic finish here is just beautiful. Get the red stitching here on the boot. You got the metallic on the shifter here, but it's a very comfortable car. Again, the steering wheel beautifully shaped, and this is $58,000 for the TTS. You can get into the TT for less than that, though. Very nicely done. Back to you, Drew.
Here to accept is Anthony Garbus, TT Product Manager for Audi of America.
Thank you. Tom pretty much said everything I was going to say, so I'll just recap real quickly. The TT is really a design icon ever since it showed for the first time in Frankfurt in 1995. And when you look at the third generation TT over here, we took a lot of the cues from the first generation TT and we merged them with design cues from the R8 to make it a much more aggressive looking car. I like to say it's gone from sporty car to sports car now. And on the interior, while we were evolutionary on the outside, staying true to our roots, the interior was a total revolution. And so if we use one word to summarize the interior, we'd say it's focused. It's completely a driver-focused interior. At the centerpiece of the interior is the virtual cockpit, which is our 12.3-inch screen, which runs all aspects of the car. The normal cluster functions, infotainment, navigation, everything is run through the virtual cockpit. This is the first car, Audi, to have the virtual cockpit. It then went down to the Q7. The A4 also has it now. The R8, which launched last month, has it as well. And then you'll see it later this year in the A3 also. And so with the sports cars, you have one center screen only. You have one virtual cockpit and not a center screen like you have on the A and the Q models. And this is to reinforce the driver-focused aspect of the car. The cluster, one of the best things I can say about it is that you forget you're looking at a screen. And this is important because the needles move in lifelike fashion, that they move like an analog gauge cluster. The system runs at 60 frames per second, powered by two Tegra 3 processors for lifelike movement. Everything that you do with the virtual cockpit is done on the steering wheel. So focusing on, again, driver focus, you never have to remove your hands from the wheel to do anything with this car. The center console, where you have a redundant control down here, is if you want to use handwriting recognition to write in an address, or for your passenger to control the virtual cockpit, which they can see everything on because it has such a wide viewing angle. One of my favorite things about the interior design on this car, though, and we touched on it earlier, is the integration of the climate control into the center of the air vents, because it just makes so much sense. And not only do you have the haptic feedback of adjusting the temperature and the airflow with knobs right in the center of vents, but then you also feel it on your fingertips with the air changing intensity and temperature as well. So it is an honor to receive this reward, and on behalf of Audi AG and the Audi design team, thank you very much.
The BMW 7 Series is the most expensive car we tested this year, but its interior takes luxury, convenience, and even pampering to a whole new level. Tom will tell you about it.
Yes, this is the 750i. You can get into the 7 Series for like in the low $80,000 range, I do believe. But this one is set up for being catered to as an executive. This is the executive lounge package, seating package, which costs an extra $5,700 with rear ventilated seats. They recline. You can put this seat forward and actually have a footrest. You can also have the privacy window shades, of course. This is ivory white Napa leather, and of course, massaging seats. How could you have this sort of treatment without a good massage? And then, as you can see over here on the door trim, you got this beautiful inlay. Well, actually, when we get to the front seat, we'll see the inlay a little bit better. But just very, very straightforward, beautiful, elegant design. And then, you've got your own control panel back here. These screens will give you all sorts of entertainment options. And you see this tablet right here. Well, you can actually pull that tablet out and you can cycle through all of your options. And they have a sun protection tab. You just push that and it'll close everything, all of the shades and your privacy shades and all that. But you can control your music also back here, make phone calls. It's quite amazing. And then you have your own climate controls here. Of course, remote for your separate consoles here. Oh, and then also in the center, you got this beautiful stainless steel and very sturdy working desk for an executive here that pulls out. Really nicely done. So I'm going to climb into the front seat. The camera's going to go up to the passenger side, and we'll talk about the front. Now, you might think that this is a car just to be coddled, but really it's not. This is a driver's car. This is a wonderful car to drive. They took a lot of weight out of the 7 Series, and as Drew mentioned, yes, $130,000 with $30,000 in options. However, we've been in cars that were twice the price that had half the functionality. So we've got just amazing arrays of electronics here. And if you get a chance to cycle through, this is the latest generation iDrive system where you can cycle through this menu here to you can connect to your phone. You could get Pandora, and you can read your entire vehicle owner's manual that is fairly interactive too. You can get actually graphical displays. Very cool. But here, this still all looks like BMW, and they integrated beautiful metallic trim around it, and then graphical displays here, digital displays here. And here's a better shot of the inlaid wood. Beautifully done. So yeah, no complaints about the BMW 7 Series. I'll hand it back to you, Drew. Thanks.
Here to accept as last year's keynote speaker, Mark Gerard, Global Director of Automotive Design at BMW Design Works.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be back here in Detroit, especially at this time of the year. It's a little bit better time as January for the motor show. I had the pleasure last year to receive an award for the i3 and this year for a 7. Designing a flagship for BMW is definitely something special for our team. And this one was particularly strong because we were also wanting to targeting or over-demanding customers for this vehicle. And to do so, we definitely add a lot of immersions in our global design network in Shanghai, in America. As Tim said just before, we found out that our customers are not only being driven in our 7 Series, but also drive themselves. So the vehicle has been equally balanced between the front and the rear. We also have been, I would almost say, obsessed by details for this vehicle, and you can see that in the fit and finish, in all the features. We've been designing the B-post with a light element, something we never did before, and the authenticity of all the materials we've been bringing into this car is definitely something special. But last but not least, maybe the most important feature on the 7 Series is that this vehicle is future-proof. We have been introducing a new generation of HMI, which is introducing first time ever gesture control, in addition to touch control and remote touch. I think this shows the commitment to BMW, from BMW for the future, and giving the choice of commanding the vehicle to our customers. And that's probably the most important thing as well. And HMI and subtle authentic materials basically bridging the two worlds of analog and digital. That was our task, and we are glad on behalf of the BMW Group team to receive this award. Thank you very much.
The Cadillac XT5 replaces the SRX in the CUV lineup, and its micro-suede headliner, rosewood trim, and maple sugar leather make for a sweet combination. Here's Tom with a vehicle walkthrough.
So yeah, this is the XT5, and it's a CUV that's in the heart of the market. Mid-size luxury CUVs are hot right now, and this one is just arriving at the right time. I want to call out here the rosewood trim. This is just a beautifully matte finish wood trim that carries over into both doors and also into the IP up front. I'll show you that in a bit. But this nice metallic bar that separates leather from wood, really nicely done. And then here in the second row, this seat will fold down flat. And also, not only that, but if you are really tall and you're sitting in the second row, if you need a little bit more headroom, you can actually recline the seat back 3 or 4 inches, and it really does make a big difference. And of course, the seat does slide fore and aft to several inches. Very nicely done. You got your own separate climate controls here and back as well. I'm going to climb into the front row. And yeah, this is the maple sugar package. Like this color, really nicely done. And this is micro suede, as we mentioned earlier. We're seeing a lot of this. It's nicely done here. We usually don't see it on the IP. It's kind of nice. And then the nice stitching across the top. I really like how the wood trim here feeds into this metallic, these two metallic spears that basically meet, the points meet right here at the center. Nicely done. This is all very clean. It's only two buttons here, 3 buttons here to pick your all-wheel drive, your drive mode, or else to turn off your traction control. Nicely done. Cup holder module. And yeah, the headliner is really clean. You look at this nice fit on the A-pillar, and the seal is nice and tight. Very clean on the edge. And then there's 2 switches, one for the shade and one for the actual roof. We really like that so that you don't have any confusion about whether you're opening the shade or the roof. So, and then the Cadillac user experience works great, very nicely integrated, easy to change the volume or change your station or make a phone call, whatever you want to do. Back to you, Drew.
Here to accept are Eric Clow, Director of Interior Design at Cadillac, and Phil Kuchera, Interior Design Director at General Motors.
very much to Wards for this great honor. Certainly in a great collection of vehicles today. The XT5 is really important to Cadillac as a brand. It's our core product, really, and it's a very significant move forward from where the vehicle that replaces the SRX. And I have a lot of respect for the team that did this car along with me. As everybody knows, car design is a team sport, and I'd just like to recognize a few of the members of the team who are here. Not only Phil, but Thomas Provost, and we also have a few others. We have Christos Rustemis, Sangpil Kim. If you could stand up, please. I'd also like to recognize Aaron Denowith, who's not here. He's on assignment in Australia, who is key to the beginning of this design. And I'd also like to recognize the team in our shops that puts together amazing models that we then get to go out and challenge the supplier base and our engineering teams with, which was noted, I think, especially in the walk-around. So again, thank you very much. It's a great honor.
Well, there you have it. Our Awards 10 Best our Awards 10 Best Interiors winners for 2016. Let's have one more hand for this outstanding group of interiors. Okay, now we'd like to give you a chance to stretch your legs and enjoy a break before we hear the keynote speech from Robin Page of Volvo Cars, who will be right here on the IAC center stage at 2:45. I'd encourage you all to spend some time talking with our sponsors who have displays right here in the ballroom and out in the halls. And they are here because they see the unique value of this event, and without their support, this conference would not be possible. So please take a minute to thank them for their participation and find out how they can benefit your current and upcoming interior programs. And keep in mind, you'll have another breakout session to attend at 3:45, followed by the closing reception sponsored by Intiva, and your chance to win a drone courtesy of Intiva, which you can register for visiting the Intiva booth and dropping off a business card. And with that, we'll see you back here for Robin Page at 2:45.